Hey guys, this is part two for moving units. So there are some issues with our current way of moving units. So let's take a look. I'm gonna publish the game again. So you can see that the unit's moving just fine, but here's an issue. So if you're moving to the left, so if I press left button, and while I'm holding the left button, if I press right, it starts to move right. Now, if I so right now I'm pressing both left and right button. If I let go of the left, it stops. So if I'm moving to left and if I press right button, so I'm pressing two buttons at the same time, it's going to right. If I let go of the left, it stops. If I let go of the right, it also stops. The reason that this is happening is because, well, let's take a look at our script. So if you look at our person, we have key binding for left, it starts to move left. If I let go of the key, it resets the force X. Same thing for the right, except it moves the unit to the right. Now, let's talk about what just happened in the game here. I was moving my unit to left, right? I held a key there. And then while I had a key pressed, I pressed the right button. So all of a sudden, the force X has changed to 1 from -1, right? So now it's moving to right. Now, if I let go of the left button while I had two buttons, both buttons pressed, it resets the force to 0, force X to 0. So that's why unit stops. So we don't want this to happen, right? So I'm going to change the script. So instead of resetting force X, I'm gonna change this so it's for stop moving left. So I'm gonna create two. I'm gonna change this into two scripts. So this is for stop moving left, and I'm gonna add a condition here. So so this is our if condition, and make sure that you are choosing a number comparison. Okay, and it compares the unit's attribute, force X, of the casting unit. Okay, um, so it stops moving left if and only if it was already moving left. So if the force X was already set to -1, this means the unit was already moving to left, right? So if that's the case, then we'll reset it to 0. Otherwise, we're not going to run this script. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and save it. And let's copy this script. And we're going to create a new script called stop moving right. Okay. And paste. All right. So we're going to save it. Oh, wait. We have to make sure that the unit was already moving to right. And yeah, then we're going to reset it. Okay. And we're going to put it right here. Save again. And let's go to environments. Go to person. Oh, whoops. No, we have to create the ability first. So I'm going to rename the reset force X to stop moving left. And then we're going to create a new ability, stop moving right. Okay, so that's all done. Now we're going to go to key bindings. And yeah, so this is already set. But for right, we're gonna make it so it stops moving right if the keys up. Okay, so let's republish the game and see what happens. All right, so I'm gonna move my unit towards right. Okay, and let's see what happens if I press left at the same time. It starts to go left. Now, if I let go of the right key, nothing happens. It keeps on going to the left. So this is what I wanted to happen. So again, if I press my left key now, so both keys are pressed, now I'm going to left. If I let go of my right key, it doesn't stop, it keeps on going, and that's good. It feels a lot more fluid. All right, just to save our time, I went ahead and quickly created uh, two more abilities for stop moving down and stop moving up, as you can see. So there, one's here and the other one's there. And I did a key binding for them as well. Now, the next thing that needs to be fixed with our movement is adjusting the speed for diagonal movements. Let's first set our speed as a variable. So we have a variable section here. We're going to add a new variable, and we're going to call it speed. And it's going to be 100. Okay. And we're also going to add another variable called diagonally filtered speed. Okay, and it's also going to be a number, and we'll for now set it as 0. Okay, and now we're going to go back to scripts. Now, remember how we used to enter our speed 100 manually like this? We're gonna change that to our variable, which is 100. So it's basically the same thing. And we're gonna do it, apply the same thing for our y-axis as well. All right, just gonna save it and run it and see if it works all right. All right, so now we have now we're using a variable, and we can still move our unit smoothly without any problem. Oh, there's two other people in the game here now. Okay, now here's an issue with our diagonal movements. If I'm moving to left, I'm moving at the speed of 100, right? And if I'm moving up, I'm moving at speed of 100. So now, what would happen if I was to move, let's say, right and up at the same time? I'm moving at the speed of both 100 to the right and 100 to the to up. So meaning, realistically, my speed has actually went up because let's take a look at the Pythagorean theorem. The speed, my diagonal speed is actually set to much greater than what it's supposed to be, right? So I'm gonna run my calculator here. So basically, my speed has gone up to root of 2, which is basically where are you? Is this it? There. So my speed became 1.414 instead of just being 1 when I'm moving to right and up at the same time, or any other diagonal direction, whether if I'm moving up and left or down and left and down and right, my speed goes up. And I don't want that to happen, right? So what I want instead is, whoops, let's go back to our game here. I want to make sure that I'm reducing my speed when I have both force X and force Y being applied at the same time. I want to reduce the speed. So basically, I want to divide my speed by 1.414 when I'm moving diagonally. So to do that, I need to create an if statement. Okay, so I'm going to create a new action, and it's going to be the if statement. And it's going to compare two things. So we're going to go and, all right. And first, it's going to check for our x-axis. So I'm going to compare the number. And the number is going to be the attribute, the unit attribute, force x, of the selected unit, because we're going through the for loop here. So it's going to compare force x, and it's going to see if the force x is 0. Okay, or sorry, we're gonna see if force x is not 0. Okay, and at the same time, it's going to see if, whoops, number comparison, and calculate unit attribute and force y of the selected unit. Yeah, and not 0. So what this if statement basically is doing is if both force x and force y are not 0, so meaning both left button or the right button and up button or a down button are pressed at the same time. So if this basically is to check if the unit's moving diagonally, right? So if the unit is moving diagonally, so this is our if statement, right? What we're going to do is we are going to set, so we're going to set variable, and we're going to set the diagonally filtered speed as, and we're going to do a little bit of calculation here. It's going to be speed divided by the number that we just had in our calculator. There you go. That's going to be the number. So we're going to divide our speed by that number. Maybe it's a little too long, so I'm just going to keep it to, what is it, 5 decimal places. Okay, so diagonally filtered speed is going to be set as speed divided by that. So that's if our unit is moving diagonally. Otherwise, else, we are going to set our diagonally filtered speed as speed because we're not moving diagonally, so it's just speed. Okay, so we're gonna move this up here so it runs before moving the unit, and then we're going to apply the force at the filtered, diagonally filtered speed instead of speed. So this ensures that our speed is slowed down when we are moving diagonally. And let's see how it works in our game. Okay, so our unit can move just fine. And we can slightly tell that we can we're now moving slightly slower when we're moving diagonally. All right. Okay, good. So it feels a lot more fluid now, our movement. So this covers our top-down view games movements. By the way, I will make this template available for anyone to fork. Actually, we have this fork function where you can copy this code and use it for your own game. So we're gonna make this code available to public. So here, why don't I change the name of the file now? Top down. We are going to make this public. So if you want to take a look at the code, you can access it by going to Sandbox. Wait, let me save this first. Yeah, by going to Sandbox and under public games, you can see our game here. So you can take a look at it. All right, so that's it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in our next tutorial video.